What is going on, everybody? It is a Friday live show. Whether you're watching this right now live with us or whether you're watching it back, smash that like button. Also, drop a 1 in the chat or the comment sections if you're excited about the bringing back of Friday live shows here to wrap out the week. We are going to have a lot of fun here today. Crypto markets preparing for an explosive move. What does that mean? Well, guess what? I'm going to tell you about the top 10 coins that I am buying right now. You don't want to go anywhere. We're going to cover some news. We're going to ask some of the biggest questions in the space and give you our takes on what that looks like going forward. Smash that like button right now if you're excited, and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. All right, let's go. Welcome on in, everybody. It's going to be a fun live show today. The last live show where the name of this channel will be The Investing Bros. If you guys missed Wednesday's live show, we explained at the end of the video. We'll talk a little bit more towards the end about that. But literally, right after this live show is over, the photo is going to change. The name's going to change. The banners are going to change. We are changing the name of the channel. We'll tell you more about that a little bit later. Cannot wait to break down some crypto with you guys. You'll notice it's just me and Smay today. Why? Because our good friend Taylor Shrum, as we're calling him now, Shrum is moving once again for the 1,000th time this year. His wife, for those who don't know, is a travel physical therapist. They are moving to the great state of Virginia. I'm deeply jealous. That's where I wish I could be. They're moving to Virginia, so he'll be back on the show Wednesday, but he is traveling today. Shrum, if you're watching, we love you. See you on Wednesday. But I am here with Smay. Smay and I are going to have a lot of fun today with you guys. If you guys always love a good talk with Smay, drop a heart in the chat. Smay, how are you doing today, my friend?
Guys, my mood today will be proportionate to the amount of hearts put in the chat.
Oh,
Kidding.
Yeah.
I'm having a great time, Tim. Today's been great. I'm looking forward to life and love. And guys, this Fantastic Four movie, wow, it's so good.
Yeah, we were talking about that right before the show. I'm going to have to go see it this weekend. You give us some raving reviews. You say Fantastic Four is good. I didn't like the trailers that came out, but maybe the movie's good. I don't know.
It's just basically, like, just to set everyone's expectations, it is literally just The Incredibles. It's The Incredibles, but Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Looks like chat's saying you're a little quiet on your side, Smay. I don't know. Maybe I'm loud. I don't know. They're saying you're a little quiet.
Can you hear me?
All right, I think it's a little louder there. I hear you just fine, but I don't know if that's just because my volume
I can turn it even more.
Changed a little bit
What
different.
about now?
Let us know in chat, what do you guys think? I'm going to ask Smay a good amount of questions today because he is my co-host with Shrum being out today. But we're going to have a lot of fun breaking down some things. Let's go through the topics. I got my trusted whiteboard. Some of you don't know this. I'm still I like to write things down rather than typing them out on a computer, even though we live in a world where we talk about digital currencies and computers and stuff. I still like writing things by hand. That's just me. I'm an old soul. What are we going to talk about today? Big news, I would say, on the docket. Jerome Powell. A lot of things with Jerome Powell. Is Jerome Powell stepping down? Well, it seems like he's saying no. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Also, the drop-in that President Trump had with him, if nothing else was accomplished, great memes will be had for the next couple of months with Donald Trump and Jerome Powell. We'll discuss that. We'll do a market update, look at Bitcoin dominance, look at the M2 money supply. We'll look at cryptocurrencies and what they're doing, altcoins. But then we're going to jump into the conversation a lot of you guys probably came in here for. Why are we going to be exploding here? What are the top 10 coins that I am buying right now? In fact, I want to let you know it's not that I'm going to buy them. I have bought them, but I'll let you know what I have bought. If you had been in our VIP trading group yesterday, you would have gotten in some good keys as to what I was looking at. We'll talk about that and some big news with Ethereum. Why Ethereum is going to lead the altcoin season here very, very soon. And then we're going to break it down at the end of the show. 4-year cycle. Is it dead? Why is it dead? And what does that mean about how you hold your coins in this bull market? If you're excited about those topics, smash that like button. Hit that. I already said 1 in chat if you guys are excited about Friday live shows. So let's go with the 7. 7 in chat if you're excited about those topics on the show. Smay, are you excited about the show so far? You ready to get going?
Oh, wow, Tim. I'm so excited. Thanks.
Yeah.
Back to you.
All right, before we get going, we're going to give a quick word from a sponsor. Now, we've been partnered with this group for a long time. I haven't given them a special shout out here in a while. Got to give a special shout out to Lux Algo, the #1 trading tool in the world. We use it every single day. You rarely see any videos that I produce where I'm not doing Lux Algo technical analysis. Is that just because I want to make money with a sponsorship? No. Genuinely, whether you guys get Luxago or not, I'm just very glad that I get to use it. Why? Because it's my key to winning as many trades as I win. Not that I'm 100%, but I'm batting somewhere between 85 to 90% right now over in the VIP trading group. And I teach people how to use Luxago if they purchase it. Here's the best thing. Luxago, not only do you learn how to use it when you're in our group, you get 20% off when you use our link down below. Make sure in your checkout it says something about IB20 or 20% off. I don't want you to have to pay full price. That is part of the deal we have with them. Go get Luxalgo, start trading with us. 20% off. Check out the link down below. Again, even if you don't use it, I'm going to keep using it because that's how good it is to me. That's all I really care about. Let's take a quick look at the markets really quickly, and then we're going to dive into some of the news stories. But I just want to take a look at some of these coins. Bitcoin, we talked about this on Wednesday, if you were here on the live show, how this was a bullish formation. And we talked about the potential of a move to the upside. But I kind of let you guys know the reality was we probably wanted to make a move further to the downside. And we talked about around 114,500. Didn't quite get there. We'll talk about that here in just a couple of minutes. But Bitcoin did make a move to the downside. When it comes to altcoins, though, they really kind of just stayed sideways for the most part, especially over the last 24 hours. Yes, some things are moving to the downside. XRP did come back down here towards $3. But as Bitcoin took a big spill, looks like altcoins kind of held up pretty well. Solana with a nice little rally here even today. We might not get back into Solana stuff. So let's take a look there and appreciate Solana on the micro putting on a short, higher high. That's a good sign for altcoins. Go off my screen for a second here, Smade. I'm going to save that for later on because, again, altcoins, I do believe, are about to have a major rally once again. I will explain why here in a little bit. I will tell you the top 10 coins that I'm buying. So if you're here for that and you're just joining us, welcome, welcome, welcome. Stick around. We're going to get there. Let's get into the news that's going to start us off with some Jerome Powell information. Everyone's favorite guy to talk about in recent days. Go to my screen here, Smay. There's some news just breaking in the last hour and a half, 2 hours or so. There's been speculation that Jerome Powell might be resigning sometime soon. That's been the rumor for actually probably over a month now. Well, Federal Chair Jerome Powell tells multiple associates and allies he will not resign. I like the Lark Davis photo he puts in here. Well, let's not say bad words. It's a family-friendly show. I looked at the picture, didn't realize I read that there's a bad word on there. So Lark Davis, do better. Don't put bad words on the internet. Why is this important? Right? Because there's been a lot of speculation that potentially he would step down. We all know Jerome Powell has been, very hesitant to cut rates. And some people are going to say he's kind of just doing it to spite Donald Trump and the administration. Some people are saying it's because he has common sense and he knows he doesn't want inflation to get out of control. No matter what you believe, people have this perspective that as long as Jerome Powell stays in his current position as the chairman of the Federal Reserve, interest rates are not going to be dropping anytime soon. But if he did resign, if he was replaced, we could get a lot of cuts. And this would be massively bullish for the crypto markets because it would bring in liquidity. That means extra money for people to buy their cryptocurrencies. So this is a little bit of a damper to some people's expectations, but I don't think it's anything to worry about. It is interesting that, again, yesterday, if you guys missed it, hilarious videos, go watch it. We're not going to watch it on here, but if you have not seen the clip of Donald Trump talking with Jerome Powell. Again, I don't care if you're a Donald Trump fan or if you hate him or if you love Jerome Powell or you hate him. It was just good TV had by all of us. Hilarious stuff. I'll talk more about that in a second. But what's interesting is, Trump comes out of that saying, I think that Federal Chair Jerome Powell might be ready to lower some rates here. He also might not be, right? So we need to prepare ourselves for that. But it's very interesting. So I don't know what was said. I would literally, I put this on X yesterday. I would have paid some serious money. I don't pay money for a lot. Like, I like to watch Virginia Tech football games. I like to eat healthier food than just garbage you might get at like McDonald's. But I don't spend a lot of money on a lot of different things. I'm pretty frugal. I would have paid some good money to hear a private conversation between Donald Trump and Jerome Powell, two guys who absolutely do not like each other. So what was said in that room, no idea. No idea what that is, but Donald Trump comes out of it thinking, man, I think he's going to cut rates. Jerome Powell comes out of it saying, I'm not leaving. So good stuff here. Here's a still shot of the meeting yesterday. For those who don't know, Donald Trump went in and was at the spot where they're building this new facility for the Fed, and very awkward interaction. And I put this out on X yesterday. This is what I looked like standing next to my mom at church as she talks with her friends right after telling me, you're in big trouble, young man. Wait till we get home. That is me. Jerome Powell is me. Some of you who had stricter parents growing up, you see this as well. I think everyone thought the same thing when that happened. This ultimately came out during a very dramatic situation between the two men. Smay, split the screen here. Let me bring you up here. Did you see the video of the interaction as Donald Trump says, we're spending $3.1 billion. Jerome Powell's just sitting there shaking his head no. Then Donald Trump brings out a piece of paper with, what did you think of that whole clip?
It reminded me deeply of a scene you would see from Parks and Rec or The Office. Yeah. It seemed like something you would see Ron Swanson do, where like he pulls out the paper and it says, I can do whatever I want. That's what it felt like. It felt like the just like, I don't know if I agree with that. Just like he doesn't even say anything, just super stoically, piece of paper just came out. like it makes me want to just carry like documents on my person that if anybody, instead of Googling like, oh no, that's not true, Googling it, imagine if you just like, you get in an argument with somebody, you just go unfold a printed piece of paper and hand it to them. I mean, that is perfect. It is literally a scene from The Office.
Again, I'll say it again. Whether you like Trump or don't like him, entertaining TV. So entertaining. TV had by all of us. It was good stuff. On a more serious note, though, here's what I would say I took away from it. And I think a lot of you guys would agree as well, but maybe not. Let me know in the chat if you do not. You know, there the back and forth between the two of them that got awkward. You know, it was actually, for two men who don't like each other, pretty professionally handled between the two of them, clearly disagreeing. You know, Donald Trump pulls out, or he says, you know, I believe the budget now in this building has been raised again to $3.1 billion. Like I said, Jerome Powell starts shaking his head. No, that's not happening. Donald Trump pulls out the paper. Jerome Powell fact checks it and says, no, you know, that you're doing is including a building that was made in 2019. That doesn't imply here. Here's the reality. Here's what I got away from that, because I did some digging on it. And the reality is, I think this is one that some people watched that and were like, oh, look at that. Jerome Powell called Trump on his lies. Yeah, maybe some of you think that. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. The research I did was that this budget was originally $1.9 billion, approved in 2017 for these new Fed buildings, okay? So all we're talking about right now is the $2.7 billion budget for this new building, the building they're standing in that photo. But Jerome Powell wants to get away saying, hey, you know, we're only spending $2.7 billion. This $3.1 billion, that's FUD. That's fake news. And it's like, no, if you were approved in 2017 with 1.9, I don't care that the building is already built. That was built in 2019. That was still part of this same agreement. So yes, the budget is up to $3.1 billion. You don't get to take money away from the budget just because the building's already been built 6 years ago. That's just how I took it. I think it's ridiculous. I mean, what is going into the building? That this building, we have one building that's worth $800 million and this newer building worth $2.7 billion. Does the building itself cure cancer? What is going on? How big is this building? Why does our Federal Reserve need a $2.7 billion building to go along with an $800 million building? Why can't the Fed just do their job on Zoom calls like the rest of us? I don't know. I don't really understand what's going on there. It seems like just another massive waste of taxpayer money. But you know what's new with American politics? And I'm not trying to go after left or right. I'm going after all of them. Left, right, all of the above. They just waste our money. They waste our money, and they get upset when we complain about taxes because they just don't know how to handle it. In a nutshell, though, that's where I kind of got away from the meeting. But again, fun TV, right? We all got to chuckle for a couple of minutes getting to watch that clip. It was awesome. Let's go ahead and transition here. Let's get into the market. Let's take a look at what is going on here. Go back to my screen. Let's go back and do some more in-depth Bitcoin analysis. Let me know in chat your guys' thoughts on Jerome Powell and Donald Trump from yesterday. What are your thoughts overall about it? What are your thoughts about the things? Let's get into Bitcoin TA. We talked about it a couple minutes ago. We broke below some key support on a shorter time frame here. We kind of predicted this was the most likely situation back on Wednesday. One of the biggest reasons why was because despite the fact that we had a bullish formation in place, we noticed the sell signal coming in here on the 12-hour chart and the potential of the daily sell signal. In fact, actually, the daily sell signal now is in effect. Where are these sell signals coming from? Of course, it's Luxalgo, the sponsor of today's video. Shout out to them, the best trading indicators out there. You're going to want to get it if you're serious about day trading or scalp trading, but even swing trading, even long-term trading, great signals to add to your bags to make some money. These signals, red reversal, bearish momentum with that gray dot, and then the negative money flow, that's this red flow right here. These are the reasons why we predicted a break of support and a move to the downside. If you guys were here, I told you, while there's a chance we drop all the way down towards 112, right? Down towards the daily smart trail. I wasn't predicting this to be the case. I think it's a possibility, but I was saying much more reasonably, I think the 12-hour is where we're wanting to get to. And you can see we stopped just short, right? We were looking around 114,300. We made it to roughly 114,700, not quite down to that level. What does this mean? Does this mean we're going to continue, that the bottom is not in yet? Possibly. But there is some signs, I think, on some shorter time frames. Look at the volume coming in here. I mean, we did come down and touch the 8-hour smart trail, the 6-hour smart trail. You know, clearly we broke that 4-hour. Now we have a target to the upside. What I also love seeing here is the increased volume that came in during this move. Volume is a very important indicator to be keeping an eye on when you're looking at technical analysis, because in this case, with the high volume coming in as blue candles turn back into white and start to move back to the upside, that tells me there was a major buy up of this dip as we crossed back down below 115,000 here today. Some of you guys know there was a prediction on Wednesday. We talked about 115 was the least of our concern. We thought it would go a little bit lower. But there's a little bit of volume coming in that will give some optimism that the bottom of this pullback is potentially in. Now, I want to make sure we're clear here. What am I looking for to say for sure that the bottom is in? Well, anytime you break a support level, you always got to be aware of the possibility that you're going to be returning to that level and turning it into resistance. So this area right here where this green line is, that was support, now it could easily turn to resistance. I really want to see us get back above 117. Let's put it around 117,500 just for safe measure here. Technically, it's somewhere in the world of 117.4, but let's get above 117.5. Let's get some candle closes on the 4-hour chart back up above this green line, and we'll feel a lot better that this is more of a fake out. The bottom is in, and Bitcoin's bull run can continue. Like I said, though, this big pullback that Bitcoin had, it actually has been part of what's caused the Bitcoin dominance chart, something the altcoin holders are watching and wanting to drop to downside. It caused it to come back down. Last week, we predicted, after seeing Bitcoin dominance break below 62% for the first time in quite some time, you know, back here in May, let me move my toolbar right there, back here in May on the 14th, that was the previous higher low. We have broken instead of lower low. But I told you guys last week, hey, we need to get a bounce here. We need to set in a lower low, and we also need to put in a lower high. I predicted somewhere between 62 to 63% would be that top. You can see the top right here is at 62.5, so right down there in the middle, and now we're starting to make some moves back towards the downside. Ultimately, to confirm this, we do want to see Bitcoin dominance get back below 60.43. We want to see a new lower low, but this is exactly what we were anticipating. And with Bitcoin dropping the way it is, and then other altcoins kind of holding up pretty nicely here, like Ethereum, this is something that is absolutely very bullish for your altcoins. Is this that steal where people are selling off their Bitcoin, they're taking profits, and then they're rolling it into altcoins for an altcoin season? That's what's happened historically in the past, and it's something I think is potentially on the table once again here with this current move. But right now, Bitcoin making some nice moves here, back up above 116, making a move back up towards 117. Let's get above 117.5, and we will feel good about what Bitcoin is doing here longer term. Now, another reason to be optimistic on Bitcoin and on crypto in general is an indicator that we have been tracking, and several other influencers do as well. But I want to show you and update you on what is going on with it. It is the M2 money supply with a 90-day delay. And if you want to go into the settings of this, by the way, let me show you the indicator in case you guys are wondering. Favorites, you want to look at the global M2 10-week. Let me move this to the side here. M2 10-week lead for Bitcoin. It's board risker. So if any of you guys are looking that up and you're saying, which one is Tim using? 10-week lead, Bitcoin board risker. But I did change the setting in here to 12. So it's actually more 12 weeks because historically 90 days is what we're looking at. So 3 months, what's 3 months? Give or take 12 weeks is 3 months here. We're tracking what the Bitcoin dominance chart, the M2 money supply chart is doing. It is still predicting, even with these pullbacks, you can see this kind of in line with what we have over here. We should still be making runs to the upside all the way until late September of 2025. Then we started to notice a couple of days ago, we had a little bit of pullback. You can see we're making positive moves once again. Will it continue? Will the global M2 money supply put in a new higher high here in the next couple of days or weeks? Or is this going to show us a potential local top in September? We're going to talk more about this later because this is very interesting right now. We're not sure yet what M2 money supply is going to do, and we got to wait to see what that looks like. But ultimately, what's coincidental that you're going to hear a lot of people discuss as they're looking at things at this, they're going to say, what are the odds that it's happening right at the 4-year cycle top? For those you don't know, the 4-year cycle is this system, a theory within the crypto community about when the tops of bull markets are going to be, where the bottoms of bear markets are going to be. And ultimately, people like to use it to try to predict when to buy and when to sell. I'm going to have a take on this a little bit later. We're going to ask the question, is the 4-year cycle actually dead? What should we do with this? And how should you process with your crypto portfolio in the next couple of months? Do you take complete profit in the 4-year cycle September month, or do you wait a little bit longer? Will the bull market extend into 2026? We'll talk about that here a little bit later, but I do want to just point this out to you guys. Right there, we are kind of in a who knows what's next. Will M2 money supply go up higher, or will we have a delayed pullback later in the fall of 2025? We'll keep you posted on that. We talk about it almost every single day over in the VIP trading group, so I encourage you, if you want to stay up to date, go check that out. There was also, I'm not going to get into a whole lot of altcoins today. We'll take a look at some later. But as a whole, what I wanted to take a look at was the total 2 chart, which kind of tells us where altcoins are in general. As this kind of gets us into the altcoin section of the show. I want to talk about total 2 here. It has been pulling back for the last 3 days, but again, as you start to look at lower time frames, it looks like we're kind of bottoming out right here. We're seeing a little bit of a curvature come in. We're also seeing a lot of buy signals come in according to LuxAlgo, where we had a green reversal, bullish momentum, and positive money flow. The last couple of days had us have sell signals out on the 12-hour and the daily chart. Not quite there yet with the sell signal on the daily chart, but the 12-hour for sure. What did we do with the smart trail, which was our prediction? Well, look at this, guys. We actually came down and hit the 12-hour smart trail beautifully, perfectly. This is what I was looking at last week when I saw the sell signals. I said, we really need to get back down here closer to 1.4 trillion. Sure enough, that's exactly what has happened. And while the larger time frames have not necessarily given us a buy just yet, right? We don't have a green dot on the 12-hour. The daily chart still kind of deciding, do we want to enter a sell signal there? The good news is these lower time frames, like the 4-hour, 1 hour, they're turning green on us. And the weekly chart never turned bearish on us, right? We did hit a weekly smart trail, but right now, as I'm looking at it, we still have a lot of room to the upside on the weekly chart RSI. The LuxAlgo oscillator on the weekly chart still got a lot of room. We're still under this buy signal with a green reversal, bullish momentum dot, and positive money flow. I still think that the next couple of months sees us shoot up to even brand new all-time highs, getting up here towards $2 trillion is something I think is still on the way. And there's one coin right now, before we get into my top 10 coins that I'm buying right now, there's one coin that is really moving the needle when it comes to altcoin season. It's the one that historically has always front-run altcoin season. That coin is Ethereum. Ethereum with some major moves here. Again, breaking that weekly smart trail. Still a lot of bullish momentum there. We didn't necessarily get the full-on sell signal on the daily chart. The 12-hour chart, which did get... Oh, actually, no, excuse me. The 12-hour chart never got its sell signal either. The Ethereum chart continues to hold up better than Bitcoin, hold up better than the rest of the altcoin space. This is one that is still continuing to steal dominance away from Bitcoin. This is ETH over Bitcoin right here, guys. Big moves to the upside here, and I think that's going to continue. I think it's going to continue for multiple reasons. Not only does the chart tell me that ETH still has some room to the upside before hitting some major resistance, you also got some big news coming out with Ethereum that is very, very important. Let's get into some other stories here. Just in on Watchdog Guru, now again, this is hours ago, but just in, BlackRock's head of digital assets leaves the company to join second biggest Ethereum treasury company, SharpLink Gaming. I'm still really big on altcoins, right? I still think altcoins individually are going to do very well. But this concept of crypto treasury companies, it's going to be a major thing, right? Bitcoin treasury companies have been doing phenomenally. We're starting to see the emergence of Ethereum treasury companies. I'm already hearing rumblings of several other altcoins that are going to have these treasury companies. What is this? This is the adoption that institutions are coming in, and they're going to be going crazy in the world of cryptocurrency. What are these treasury companies banking on? They're going to have options for you to buy into stocks, that the stocks will be completely based on the bullishness of the Ethereum chart, right? Think MicroStrategy with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's going down, MicroStrategy stock is falling. If Bitcoin's going up, MicroStrategy stock is climbing. These are those types of companies that are doing it with Ethereum. We've heard of several coming out the last couple of weeks. What's bullish about this? What does this mean? It means institutions are going majorly bullish on Ethereum. For someone to leave BlackRock to become a part of this company speaks volumes about the perception in the institutional markets about what Ethereum is about to do, right? So the charts are looking good. The fundamentals are looking good. We continue with more fundamentals. JP Morgan is now saying that stable coins will be integrated with the traditional financial systems, as well as more tokenization of real world assets, right? JP Morgan, a company that has forever been against cryptocurrencies, right? It's only been more recently that they've kind of been more optimistic and encouraging. They're talking about stable coins and how stable coins are going to be the backbone of the financial system going forward. Now, you might be saying, Tim, I thought we were talking about Ethereum. I thought we were talking about why Ethereum is going to be so bullish. Why are you bringing up stable coins and how big stable coins are going to be? Stable coins are pegged to the dollar. That doesn't necessarily guarantee anything flowing cryptocurrency-wise. Well, if you're going to talk about stable coins, you've got to talk about Ethereum. Why? Because of a chart that was posted actually by some good friends of ours over at Discover Crypto. Shout out to them. This chart right here shows you the supply of stable coins and where those stable coins sit. Yes, there's some sitting in Tron. Yes, there's a couple in Solana, AVAX, but look at how many are in Ethereum compared to everything else. Ethereum has this monopoly, this dominance on the stable coin market. And if JP Morgan is right, if institutions are right, with the recent passing of the Genius Act and this clarity of what the stablecoin regulation looks like, stablecoins are going to be a massive thing, and there's no coin out there that will benefit more. I mean, a lot of them will benefit, but there's no coin that will benefit more than Ethereum, because the majority of these stablecoins are built on Ethereum. So if you're newer to the space, welcome in. We're so glad you're here. Smash the like, hit subscribe. You should be buying Ethereum. That's going to kind of take us into the next section of the show. A lot of you guys clicked on it. What are the top 10 coins that Tim is buying right now? We're going to go through and look at them on CoinMarketCap. I'm going to kind of zoom in on, we'll click on some links, look at some things here. But the number one, obviously, is Ethereum. Ethereum currently sitting at $3,600. Guys, this is a coin that I firmly believe still can get over $10,000. I mean, the question is going to be, can Ethereum get to $10,000 before the end of 2025? I think that that's a little bit fast. I think that $10,000 before 2026 is a little aggressive, very doable. But the reality is this is a coin that easily could be over 15,000 before the end of this bull market. And so Ethereum, absolutely. It's the historical front runner of altcoin season. It always makes a run before other altcoins. You know, Ethereum walks so that altcoins can run, ultimately, is the concept here. Ethereum is my number one coin that I am buying right now. Take a look at it. 3,600. Again, I bought a long time ago. Like, I had purchased all the way back down at 1,400 in this bull market, but I'm buying more Ethereum on this slight dip with anticipation of very, very big moves to the upside. That is number one. You know what? In fact, instead of this, let's just go through the charts. I'll go through charts as we go through them. This is ETH right now, already very explosive. But again, I believe the explosions are just beginning. New all-time highs coming very soon for ETH. Coin number two that I am going to be buying here is and I want to make sure clear. These are not order of importance. I started with Ethereum because that was the biggest one we got to talk about today. Here on out, don't take the list as being like the ones I go 2, 3, 4 are the most important. I'm just going to go through coins that I'm buying on the list that I've made. Again, this list is already public to everybody over in Discord in our VIP trading group. But for you guys, I wanted to run you through it as well. So if you're looking for the next coin to buy, and I'm not a financial advisor, you be smart, do your own research, but know that these are the ones that I'm buying right now with my confidence in the altcoin market coming. The next one up is Chainlink. You guys know I'm a lover of Chainlink. Chainlink with a nice correction here over the last couple of days. Had to buy that dip up. It came back down here. I predicted a lot of altcoins would come back down to the 12-hour smart trail. So guess what? What did I buy? I bought the 12-hour smart trail down here towards 1740. This is the coin that I think could be very explosive. Again, it's already set a higher high here for the first time in months. This is one I have trajectories. I have some longs even open right now up towards $31. I have some long-term holding things. I think $100 to $300 still in the works by the end of this bull market. Call me crazy. People call me crazy a lot when it comes to Chainlink, but really big on it. That's what I'm buying. I'm not going to be able to explain all 10 of these coins and go into extreme detail. I'm just telling you the 10 I'm going to buy and give you some quick updates on why I'm so bullish. Let's go to coin number 3 that I bought here over the last 24 hours. It's going to be BitTensor TAO. Again, hit our 12-hour smart trail. BitTensor TAO sitting at just 400. This is one that I could see long-term getting well over 4,000, right? So 10x from here easily. How much higher it goes is going to be a big deal, big thing to watch. TAO, I think, is going to be one of the most exciting AI plays in this bull market. BitTensor TAO is the third coin that I'm purchasing right now. Got in last night, or yesterday, excuse me, around 406. Loved it. By the way, there's Shrum in chat, says, no hat, Tim. Yeah, I mean, I'm going no hat today. Just, changing it up, letting the hair breathe while I still have it. Someday I probably will go bald. My dad's bald. Although I am 31, I've had the same hairline since I was 19 years old. It's a receding hairline, but it's not too bad. Let me know. Do you guys think I'm going bald here? But I got to rock the hair while I got it. So let's get back into it. Coin number 3, BitTensor TAO. Love it. Number 4, we got to go ONDO. We got to go biggest real-world asset play. I mean, even that news we just talked about here a little bit ago with stablecoins. It also has to do with stablecoins adopting into real-world asset plays. And what's a bigger real-world asset play than ONDO? Give you some time to answer that there's nothing out there. That's right. ONDO probably the number one benefactor of the emergence of real-world assets. Bought in down here on the 12-hour smart trail just at $1. I got in at $1. Didn't quite get the bottom, honestly. In fact, not even that much in profit from that purchase, but had to get in on that $1 smart trail buy here on the 12-hour chart. This is a coin that, again, recently here did set a higher high for the first time in, again, since December of 2024, it's been lower highs and lower lows. We now have a higher high. This is a coin I'm still very bullish on. Short couple of weeks, I think we're going to be making moves all the way up towards, back towards $2. Long term, just made a video about this other day. I think $10 by end of year, $20 for the end of the bull market, anyone? Go check out that video. I break it down there. But ONDO is one that I just bought here again. It's coin, I believe, number 4 here. Let's go to coin number 5. We're going to rush through these, and then we'll have time for more conversations. Next up, I already talked about Chainlink. I already talked about ONDO. What is my other third big horse that I talk about all the time that I love and think people can make a lot of money with? SUI. The newer, but still one of the more exciting layer 1 plays in the game still right now. Now, this is one that we actually had to break below some support to get here, so I'm glad that today we're making moves. We're back up towards 383. We're breaking back through that resistance, but I had a buy order down here at 356. Why? 12-hour smart trail. Got in on SUI. Got a long way to go to the upside. If I'm right about this breakout, short term, guys, we're looking at price predictions back up above $4 to $5. Longer term, this was a chart actually put in. I did a video about this weeks ago, but Raoul Paul mentioned this symmetrical triangle pattern. Guys, this symmetrical triangle pattern, if it breaks to the upside the way it should, and again, it already did break to the upside, but if it plays out the way it should, this would give us a price prediction for SUI all the way up here at $43. Now, it's going to take to the end of the bull market to get there, right? I'm not saying by the end of the year. I'm not saying here the next week or two. I'm saying at the end of the bull market, I think it'd be reasonable that we saw a $43 SUI before it's all said and done. We might even go a little bit higher. Again, if you're asking Tim, when's the top of the bull market? We'll talk about that here in just a couple of minutes. This is still in the top 10 coins that I'm buying, right? So got to mention SUI. Had a great purchase the other day at 350. 6, give or take. But that's when I still think that's a long road to the upside. If you guys are still looking to buy in on some coins. Let's keep going on here. Another coin that I've been big on, HBAR. Again, we'll kind of go a little quicker here. HBAR, higher high. Love what HBAR is doing. Where did it pull back down to? Pulled back down here to the 12-hour smart trail. Got in at 24 cents. Love me some HBAR. I know some people out there don't like it, but I think HBAR, you can just see when it gets moving. It's got a lot of explosion still coming. This is one easily going up over $2. The question is, how much closer towards like $4 or $5 could we get HBAR before the end of the bull market? That's where I've still got to do some due diligence and finally get my end all prediction there. But anyone who's like, Tim, can we get over $1? Heck, forget $1. I think we're easily getting over $2 with this coin. The question again is, how close to 5 is realistic for HBAR? Let's keep going on here. Another coin that is actually one of the newer purchases for me. I missed out on some pumps in the past. We got to come down here and find it, but I'm all on board. Like, I'm not betting against this coin whatsoever. You guys have not heard me talk about it a whole lot other than doing some requested TA on it. But I bought some AERO the other day here on the 12-hour dip. Now, AERO is not necessarily bouncing back up as quickly. In fact, I pretty much bought right just beneath where we are currently. I bought at 86 cents. But this is another project that we've been putting higher highs and higher lows now since back in April, right? The majority of the altcoin space has been lower highs, lower lows, and just more recently has broken bullish. AERO's been bullish since all the way back here in May. So I'm not betting against AERO anymore. I did make a purchase here on AERO. That's my, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th coin. Got 3 more we're looking at here. AERO is one absolutely that you guys should be looking at here. Let's keep going on, though. Next up, we got a coin everyone loves here. Actually, not everyone loves it. In fact, a lot of you guys hate it, but I love it. In fact, I don't think we're going to have time to talk about it today. I had a very interesting exchange. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll talk about this coin here in a little bit. Maybe we have time. We have 336. XRP. Let me click on the link. XRP, everybody. Came back down here towards $3. Actually went a little bit below. I bought in at $3 here. XRP is a coin that a lot of people either have extremely bearish takes on and they think it's absolute garbage. I disagree with that. I love it. Or there's people out there that have extremely crazy bullish takes out there. Okay. The one of the ones I've heard recently is that another, with XRP getting momentum again more recently, people talking about a $1,000 price prediction for XRP. Guys, really quickly, I put a tweet out about this earlier. I just want to make sure we're all thinking with our heads on our shoulders. I love XRP, right? I bought more XRP. I was the one telling you guys back at 50 cents, XRP is going to explode. Get in on it, right? XRP, guys, I still have it going to $11 to $15 for the end of the bull market. But this $1,000 thought process, let me explain to you why it's very dumb. And I don't want to insult people that are going there. They just don't understand this. Market caps are a thing that you have to pay attention to, right? With the current supply of 59 billion tokens. Do you know what $1,000 means? It's very simple. Put $1,000 times 59 billion. You're going to get $59 trillion. Guys, crypto as a whole isn't going to $59 trillion in this market, in this current bull market. It's going to take years for crypto to get to 59 trillion. XRP is not getting 100% of that. XRP is not going to $1,000, I think, ever, but definitely not anytime soon. Like, best case scenario, we're talking about like 40, 50 years and massive hyperinflation of the US dollar. The reason why Bitcoin can get up into the millions is because it has a supply of 21 million. XRP has a max supply of 100 billion, right? So I'm just saying, what if they don't print any more tokens and they stay at 59? You still need a $59 trillion market cap. If they go all the way up to 100 billion tokens, you need a $100 trillion market cap to reach $1,000. So I love XRP. I bought XRP, but it's not going to $1,000. Let's just make sure people are clear on that. Mathematically impossible. Technically not impossible, but extremely improbable that it ever goes to $1,000 per coin. But I bought XRP. Let's go in here. Cardano, coin number 9. Again, came down here. Got in my 78, 79 cent buy here. Recent new all-time high. Not new all-time high, excuse me. I misspeak. Recent new higher high. And again, ever since December, lower highs, lower lows here for Cardano. Finally, we break bullish. I knew a pullback was coming. These 12-hour sell signals are not anything to joke with. Bought that smart trail. I still have Cardano going before the end of the bull market, at least $5. Again, I think 7 and 9 is more realistic, but a lot of time, a lot of gains still left in Cardano. The 10th and final coin here is Solana. Yeah, Solana, everybody bought in here around $180. Solana is making actually some pretty good moves here over the last couple hours. When I bought, I didn't buy the exact bottom. I bought this falling knife and it kept going down. But once again, you have these sell signals. We hit that smart trail. I'm not saying it's impossible again for all these coins. A lot of these coins are showing vulnerabilities on the daily chart. A lot of them could come down a little lower and come down to the daily smart trails. In which case, you know what? I still have some dry powder left. I rarely leave myself completely dry or completely empty of dry powder. I would buy these 10 coins more if they all go down to the daily smart trail. You're going to notice one coin I left off this list. There's a lot of coins left off this list. I did not add to my Caspa. I was trading Caspa. That's the coin I left off. No, the one coin that a lot of people are going to say, Tim, did you buy any Bitcoin? No, I have not bought Bitcoin. Why? Because as I told you earlier, I believe we are in the early stages of altcoin season. We've had a massive pullback in Bitcoin dominance. I am holding my Bitcoin. We're going to talk more about Bitcoin here in just a couple of minutes when we get into some 4-year cycle conversation. I'm not selling a single Satoshi, but I'm not using my dry powder right now to buy Bitcoin, right? That was last year's game. That was earlier this year's game. This is time to buy altcoins. And if for some reason I see Bitcoin dominance start to skyrocket once again, I might change back up and use dry powder in the future to buy more Bitcoin. What's my ultimate play, though? A lot of these altcoins I'm buying right now, I plan on taking profits on sometime in 2026. Some of them will be going towards a house I want to purchase. But I'm going to tell you right now, the majority of my profits that I take in the bull market, you want to know where they're going? Into Bitcoin, into Satoshis, into long-term holds where it's less volatile than the altcoin space. Massive profit can be made in altcoins. Massive long-term value will be held over in Bitcoin. So don't think I'm bearish on Bitcoin. Don't think I hate Bitcoin. It's just not the time right now to be going big on Bitcoin. Now, here's the other thing. Go off my screen for a second here, Smay. A lot of you guys are going to be on other coins here. I see some good coins on here. Virtuals, AVAX, Algorand, Say. Let's see. Someone else already said Caspa. I'm not saying these coins are not good. In fact, I own a little bit. So I own AVAX. I own Caspa. I don't own any Say. I've talked about owning it some. I just don't need to. I already have like 11 or 12 coins. I don't need to own 27 coins, right? So I'm not going to tell you guys that Caspa I own. I'm not going to tell you that Say or Algorand or Virtuals are bad. Right? I'll trade all these things. I look at the charts and I trade them all the time. I don't have any long-term holds there just because I don't want a list of 20-something coins. And there's probably 50 coins that are quality that I would actually make a good argument you could hold and be okay. I have my selection. I like my selection. At the end of the day, some people overcomplicate and diversify too far out, and it gets very confusing, gets tedious, and that's not something you want to do, right? If you've been in the space for a long time and you want to own 20 coins, good for you. But I highly recommend newer people or people with less time, don't split yourself so far to where you're having to constantly keep up to date with all of the news, information, and charts of 20 different projects. In fact, the 12 that I own, that's a lot. That's a lot to keep up with all the news, all the charts, all the information. And I do this full time. Some of you guys need to limit it down to fewer coins. And that means you're not going to hold some coins that you might even think, man, that's a good coin. Just make sure the few that you're in are good coins and you'll feel good about your long-term investment. You're not degenerate gamblers over here. We are investors who play it safe, think through things, and we want to make sure we make money and not overcomplicate the process of investing. All right, real quick, I'm going to get some water. Smay, what do you think of my list of 10 coins that I bought? Do you own any of those coins, or would you buy any of them anytime soon?
Oh, man, Tim. Every single one of them. I love them all. I would buy every single one of them. And I think I'm glad that you do.
Thank you for that. Vamsi said, thank God you did not mention DOT. So there's a lot of coins out there that I think are going to be bullish. And there's a world in which DOT has a somewhat positive momentum. I told our community months ago, do not buy DOT. I was kind of informed by someone on the inside on some things. That's the reason why I sold. He asked me not to go into details. This information has come out more public, so I feel good telling you now. Why did I sell DOT way back in, I think, February? And why am I not going to buy any more of it? because DOT had a massive marketing campaign where they spent billions of dollars to try to market themselves. Which, good for them. You tried out. Ultimate problem though is it didn't work for them, and they ran out of money. And devs are leaving, and the treasury is very low, and it came out more recently as public. So again, I'm not violating anyone's thoughts here, but someone on the inside working with the team told me all the way back in February, hey man, stay away from Polkadot. It's ghost country over here. And it's so sad because I think Polkadot had such a bright future. I mean, the concept of it is such a good, fundamental coin. It's just business wise, not everyone who knows how to write good code understands how to run a business, and you have to know how to run a business to build and grow and keep your community going. And they didn't do a good job of it. So yeah, DOT's not on my list. DOT is one of the few coins I will just tell you, don't buy that coin, right? I'm not a meme guy, but I know people can make money in memes. There's obviously other coins out there that are going to fail, but you tell me, Tim, think of one coin that's a dumb investment. Polkadot's a dumb investment.
Well,
so, man, you have a thought
to
there?
piggyback on what you just said there, because you said not every person that can write good code can run a good business.
Yeah.
Extension of that, especially when we're talking about altcoins, is that not every person that has a good idea can write good code. So that's the other part. So it's like there's so many that can be really good at marketing themselves, but they could just be an absolutely garbage project and promise the world but give very little. That's kind of a very common thing in the crypto world. So
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, well, there you go. Let me know what you guys think about the top 10 coins that I bought here recently. What did I get wrong? What did I get right? I know, the internet is full of a bunch of experts who can always tell me everything wrong that I ever do. So this is your opportunity in the comments section. Let me know what I got wrong. Or again, if you guys feel like being positive today, let me know that you love my list and ask me more about how I decided to buy them. And we talk about that kind of stuff over in the VIP trading group. Wait for videos to come out. We do put out price prediction videos all the time with short-term price predictions, long-term price predictions, intermediate time price predictions, and we go more into why and what and how. So wait for those things. But that is my list of top 10 coins. I want to transition here into a conversation I've been seeing a lot on the internet. I even put out a tweet about this here more recently. Actually today, when I say more recently, it was today. Am I the only one who thinks the 4-year crypto cycle is dead and we will extend the bull market into 2026? Let me know in the chat right now. What do you guys think about this? Am I the only one? Am I crazy for thinking that the bull market will extend? And the reason for this is because there's this concept, the 4-year cycle, which is technically actually like a 3-year, 11-month cycle, but that's neither here nor there. It's cooler and easier to say 4-year cycle. That we see bottoms and tops on predicted times before or after the Bitcoin halving cycle. Go off my screen here. We're going to go back to it in a second, but there's a lot to break down here. I'm going to be making a video. I actually made a video about this back in January, a long time ago. Very relevant video. If you go back and find that video on our channel, very good video. Did not get a lot of views, mostly because it probably just wasn't the right time to talk 4-year cycle. I think as we're getting closer to September, a lot more people are going to be thinking 4-year cycle, 4-year cycle, 4-year cycle. If you were asking the question right now, Tim, what is the Bitcoin halving event? Every 4 years, Bitcoin halves the amount of new Bitcoin produced every single day in the mining process. This, of course, brings a massive supply shock. It's part of the reason why Bitcoin is going to continue to increase so significantly, right? But I want you to think with me about something like this, right? Let's just start with 100. You have 100. Let's say you're producing 100 of something every single day. And then you split that in half. Well, now you're only making 50 a day. Okay? That's a pretty big jump to go from producing 100 to 50. Then the next halving, you're only producing 25. And the next halving, you're only producing 12.5. And the next halving, you're only producing 6.75. And I'm going to start doing lower numbers. But then you're only producing 3, then 1.5, then you get to a certain point, everybody. I remember my dad taught me this. He said, technically in the world of math, there's no such thing as zero, because in the halving thing, you can always just go smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. But I think we can all agree there gets to a certain point, like the jump between 100 to 50, that's big. 50 to 25, that's big. But when you start to get to like 2 to 1, 3 to 1.5, it's not a very big deal. Okay. In the past, the supply shock, the lack of new Bitcoin being created was a big, big deal and caused these massive waves of when to buy and when to sell based on a lot of things. Ultimately, the next halving is going to be very insignificant. And the one after that's going to be even less significant. I think the last significant halving was the one that just happened back in 2024. So I don't think we're going to have this massive sway of miners deciding when to buy and when to sell in this perfect 4-year cycle thing anymore. The other concept is the 4-year cycle, a theory that retail investors use to say this is the perfect time to buy and this is the perfect time to sell. This has always worked in the past. We need to deal with that. And I want to show you, and I don't know if he's watching today, I want to show you a message or response I got from somebody in our community, and I'm only using this because I actually really love this guy, right? It actually might be an endearment to him that I'm using his message. Those of you who have been in our community, you guys know, go back to my screen here. Eric Wallen, he's an OG. Like, he's been with us for a long time. He's been supportive. I love Eric. Now, one of the things Eric loves to do is give crypto influencers a very hard time. Sometimes it's hard to know when he's being serious and when he's just messing with you. For the most part, he's being serious, but he's doing it in love, right? He'll tell you, you're an idiot. Ha, 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 love you, right? That's Eric Wallen. Love you, Eric, if you're watching this back. He commented on my post here. He said, Bitcoin literally always does the same thing. I don't get why people always try to make things complicated. It's simple and always does exactly the same thing. So 64 days left, give or take. What's he saying? He's saying the 4-year cycle is intact. It always, always, always tops out at a certain point, bottoms out after a certain point. I'm not going to get into the details of what that exactly looks like, but just so you know, in theory, the top of the 4-year cycle, if that theory continues, would be the end of September or early October of 2025. Okay? Again, 3 years, 11 months after the November highs from back in 2021. 3 years, 11 months before that, the highs of December of 2017. Okay? And then you could go back and you could say, let me actually go to a different chart here. You go back and say, okay, then you have the other one back here in December of 2013, right? At the end of the day, I responded to Eric. And it looks like he responded back to me. But ultimately, I responded to Eric, when you say always, you mean you need it to happen twice. We're going to need to see it happen more times before I start using phrases like always. And what do I mean by that? So let's just be very clear. The 4-year cycle concept was not a thing. That the first bull market top was in June of 2011. Now, guys, I'm not a mathematician. I didn't go to college for mathematics. But June of 2011 to November of 2013, that's not 4 years. That's not 3 years, 11 months, right? So the two first major tops, not even 4 years apart. When did we notice the first 4-year difference? It has to happen here. So we have December 13th. The next one comes in December 17th, 2017. Okay, this is the first time that we saw a 4-year gap between these tops based on the halving cycles being somewhere here close to the middle. The first time something happens, that's not a law. That's not a theory. That's just that happened. We had a situation where we had a top back here, and then 4 years later, 3 years and 11 months later, we had another top. And the halving cycle came somewhere right there in the middle. That's nothing. The first time something happens, it's just a thing that happened, right? But then, interestingly, we get another halving event over here in June or July of 2020, kind of there in the halfway point. And exactly 3 years, 11 months after the top in December of 2017, we have another top in November of 2021. All right. This has happened twice now. Once is just a thing. Twice is a coincidence. But is twice a guarantee of anything? Is it fair to say always when it's only happened twice? And what goes even deeper is now that you have this theory, so therefore we're projecting or predicting a September-October high. The third time, I would say, yes, if this happens the third time, now all of a sudden we have a working theory and a working system. I don't think it's going to happen, but we have a working system. Once is a thing, twice is a coincidence, 3 times it's legit. But let me tell you this. A tale as old as time is that institutional investors, whale investors, smart money investors will never, ever, ever allow retail investors to get it right and keep it simple. They just don't do it. The minute you think as a retail investor, a normal everyday investor, the minute you think you have it all figured out and you have your whole system lined up and you know exactly when to buy and when to sell and make money, they will change the game on you. Go back and study the stock market for hundreds of years. Manipulation and confusing retail investors is the classic game in the stock market and in the way institutions invest. Guys, up until here more recently, institutions weren't involved in Bitcoin. they weren't involved in cryptocurrency. In fact, you could make the argument in 2021, the reason why this kind of got stifled and we didn't hit 100,000 on Bitcoin in 2021 was because the institutions got involved to manipulate the price to the downside, to discourage people, to FUD it, to print articles that says cryptocurrency is terrible for the environment, terrible for people, terrible for mankind. Institutions fought cryptocurrency. They didn't help it or buy it at all. But now we see the institutions coming in like crazy. So they're going to change the game on us. And here's the problem. Like I just mentioned to you, Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, has a supply. Let me click on it here, get to it. Has a total supply of 21 million Bitcoin with a current circulating supply of 19.89, which means we have a little over 1 million more tokens left to print over the period of 120 years, right? We won't actually finish mining until I think it's 21 or 2140. Okay, so almost 120 years, 115 years until they finally print the last token. But these tokens are getting gobbled up by people like Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy and others. There's not a lot of supply actually out there. In fact, a year ago, there was an estimation that less than 5 million tokens of Bitcoin are actually available, meaning 15 million or more have been locked up and probably have a long way to go before anyone unlocks them. So there's a supply shock with Bitcoin. There is a lack of willingness to transfer it because people know how valuable to be long-term. This is why we're very adamant that owning one Bitcoin long-term will make you the top 1% of the top 1% of wealth in the next 50 years. Buy as much Bitcoin as you can. But how do these institutions that missed the early boat, who didn't really even consider buying into Bitcoin until closer to $40,000, how do they get supply away from retail investors? I'll tell you what it is. Let the retail investors continue to think that we're about to see another 70% crash. Let them take profit here in October. Maybe Bitcoin stay around 150,000, somewhere to take. Let them consider thinking, oh, let me take profit and I'll buy back in all the way back down here towards $50,000. You know what's the perfect play? Play along with retail. Even give them a little bit of a dip to make them think they're so smart. And then buy the dip and continue to the upside. Extend the bull market into 2026 and beyond potentially. Guys, if I was a manipulative whale, if I was the institutional markets, this is exactly what I would do. If I'm worried about getting Bitcoin, I'm getting it right now. I'm seeing all the policies passing, but Bitcoin's already at 116,000. In the next couple of weeks or months, it's going to be over 130,000. I don't want to buy it that high. And it's also really hard to buy it that high. What's better yet, let me convince retail to sell and get that demand to come back on, and then I can buy it in bulk and send price over $1 million. And all those retailers who thought they were so brilliant taking profit at 150,000 and they could buy back at 50K, they realized years later I made the biggest mistake of my life selling Bitcoin at 150 when I could have just held it and it 10x from there in a matter of 5 to 10 years. That's the world we live in. I don't believe the 4-year cycle is around at all. Guys, the amount of things we broke in 4-year cycle, again, when people say, oh, everyone says this time's different. Guys, this time is different. If the 4-year cycle was the thing, we should not have hit brand new all-time highs before the halving event. The halving event didn't happen until March. We hit new all-time highs early March, right? So it happened actually in April, I believe. So that was the first. That was different. Altcoin season should have started back in November, December of 2024. Did that happen? Absolutely not. That's not changed. That completely changed. So anyone who's saying, guys, stop saying this time's different, it's always the same. No, it's not always the same. You can't say twice is always. And in fact, you can also make the statement that of the 2 times that things have happened, this time has looked completely different and has completely different situations. When you look at the adoption, the regulation, and the people that are pouring in, it makes zero sense to me to think that the top of the bull market will be in September or October. Now, I think a local top can happen there. I think it's possibly even wise for some people to take some profit on some of their favorite altcoins and look for a little bit of a correction. Again, I think Bitcoin could easily dip 20 to 30%, in which case altcoins are going to probably dip 40, 50, 60%. So I probably will take some altcoin profit in September or October. I probably will look to add, sell up top, buy altcoins down low. But when it comes to my Bitcoin, not touching a single Satoshi. When it comes to my long-term bags or my perception of, do I think I'm selling off right now and putting in a massive short on the market for a bear market season? Heck no. I gotta get some water. I got a little dry, dust in my throat. Give me a second. It happens when you get passionate about things. The bull market is extremely different this time around. And I 100% of me believes we will see a new all-time high for Bitcoin and altcoins after January 1st, 2026. Okay? Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys disagree. Why I said 100% here a second ago. It's not technically 100%. I'm always open to changing my mind. If something screams at me that we need to sell and something terrible is happening in October, all right, I'll sell. But right now, with current conditions, what we're looking at, there's very little reason to think that will be the top. I was gonna go into a little bit. We'll probably save this for next week. I was gonna go into the conversation of which coins do you hold past the top? Like which coins do you say, even when I think the bull market top is in, I'm not taking profit. I already told you Bitcoin, but there's some altcoins I would be adding onto that list. So we'll save that for next week. Crypto Dave says, watch M2. That's when you will know the top is in. Bitcoin lags M2. Yep, we looked at that a little earlier. And while it looks like there's gonna be a little local top at the end of September, it's not necessarily a sure thing. That means the total top is completely in. So we're going to continue to monitor that as it comes out. I told you we are going to talk about this later. It's 4 o'clock. By the way, here in just a couple of minutes in our Discord, even the free Discord, Crux will be live with Fundamental Fridays. So you want to go over and ask him some good questions about your favorite coins. Right after this live show is over, we'll be changing the name, changing the logo of the channel. We went into details about this on Wednesday. Ultimately, Investing Bros. It's been a great name for us. We've loved it. We call our community the Bros. We understand, though. Let's go split screen on this one, Smay. We understand, in a nutshell, it's not a very accurate name, right? When you hear Investing Bros, you think degenerate frat boy gamblers who probably do nothing but gamble all of their money on meme coins and try to pump and dump things. That's not us. We're responsible investors. We teach people how to trade. We wait for confirmations. We play it safe because we know there's enough profit out there to play it safe and not have to be risky. It's not a good name for our channel. I think a lot of you guys actually probably even agree with that take. We did make the decision with the advice and recommendation of some great men in our life to give us counsel. YouTube prefers personal brands. YouTube likes names. It wants people to attach to people rather than groups. I wish we could go with a different name like that. Investment Brothers. We talked about Investment Brethren. It was always a good thought process. We've been advised the best foot forward to go in the future is to go to Tim Warren. You know, I've been the face of this channel. I've been the one producing the video content. Smay's not going anywhere. Shrum is not going anywhere. Our community and our team is staying the same. The business is staying the same. The content's staying the same. We're just changing the name of the channel. So if you guys get shocked when you see it, that is what is happening. But I want you guys to know we absolutely love all of you guys. We are so happy to have your support. Make sure on this video even to smash that like, hit subscribe. It really does help us in the algorithm. But it's time to make a change here. We will never be ashamed of the Investing Bros name. I'm sure you guys as OGs will call each other bros forever and always, and we're going to love that. But it's time to mature, to brand correctly before the euphoric run of brand new people come in. We don't want people to feel discouraged or isolated or feel like, man, you can't trust this channel because it has a name that makes you think pump and dump. We want people to feel safe in this community and understand this is a place to grow and build financial wealth to benefit your family and others around you. So as soon as we sign off here, Smay, you're changing the face. We're changing the name. We'll be back on Monday as Tim Warren. But make sure, guys, if you want to know more and stay up to date with what we're doing, go join our free Discord right now. You'll also get to go join Crux in his Fundamental Fridays. Can't wait for this change to happen and get to grow more with you guys. Smash the like on your way out. Hit subscribe. We'll see you Monday. Adios.